I'm recording
I'm
here.
recording here. There was a lot.
Yeah,
there was way more than I thought there was gonna be. Way more.
Yeah. I'm excited. So I've been like sleeping a lot. I feel better today. I've been doing like old man sleeping. Like I get home, I eat my dinner, I go right to bed.
Old man sleeping. What'd you eat? Are you eating like, are you eating soft things because of your teeth?
Yeah. I gotta be careful. It kind of hurts.
Cream of wheat. And
I'm getting up at 4 a.m, watching the sunrise. No, I'm excited. We're in the con. We're heading to Hall LOB. We haven't really got a good one of these in a while.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, everything else has been kind of like trickling in, but this year is like, take it all.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot. Yeah. A whole lot.
So we're in line.
We're going to talk about all of this. So if there's anybody that still listens, you're going to have to hopefully you're in your car and it's a long drive, or I don't know, man, because there is a lot to get through. So we're going to do this. Ready? Here we go. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language. Actually, we're speaking the language of bromance. And Shawn is going to vamp for a second while I grab my earbuds because I'm not doing this again.
No. Well, Richard, while you're grabbing your earbuds, I know you can hear me. We are in Hall LOB. It's that wonderful time of year, that geek holiday weekend where everybody comes out for trailers, cosplay, all the fun stuff. It's been like 2 years has been kind of more of a trickle. It's been like ComiCon at home, but now everybody's back. They're in person. They're bumping elbows. They're shaking hands. They're swapping spit. And we are in ComiCon 2022. So Hall LOB is open. It's always been open. We never closed it because we're always been virtual.
Yeah, and I'm a professional. And professional
so
is ready to go.
I got to watch a few trailers, but Rich, you're going to be our guiding light to this adventure because like I said earlier, I have been pooped for the last week or so. Been busy, been tired, but I am ready for you to drop all this San Diego Comic Con goodness all over my plate. So give it to me.
I was gonna ask you, like, how much have you seen?
I've seen most of the Marvel trailers. I've seen the Marvel schedule, the DC stuff. Kind of your typical.
You've seen the Marvel schedule, like in terms of what's coming out on what date, or just a list of things that are coming?
I've seen by date. I don't know it by heart, but like I saw like rest of 4, what's coming in 5, and I saw that they dropped what's coming in 6, Phase 6.
Okay.
And they've given it a saga name, the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah, I noticed that too. We're actually calling it the Multiverse Saga. So, okay.
Makes sense. I'm down for it. Although Phase 4 really isn't much multiverse in this. There's a little bit, but not a bunch. But
yeah, I feel like they if phase 5 and 6 are considered the Multiverse Saga, then what is this? Like, what are we in now? Is this just like this
would be part of
holdover?
This would be so like phases 1 through 3 were the Infinity Saga. And it's the Infinity Stone Saga. So 4, 5, and 6 would all be part of the Multiverse Saga. I mean, they've dipped their toe in it. I mean, they haven't really given you a ton of like what the multiverse is, and they've kind of teased you with a bunch of it. But I mean, to be fair, like the Infinity Stones, they kind of teased you in the first phase.
True. I was trying to find an updated release schedule. I've got a list of things, but I don't have an actual like, this is coming out on this day, this is coming out this month and this month and this month. But I've got the list of what's coming, and I think I have a general idea of what's falling in what.
This one, I can read over because I've got an article that kind of goes through all of them. So if we want to start with the Marvel stuff, we can do that.
Yeah, let's start with Marvel. I think just because
that's
Marvel
basically the main thing.
Well, it's not real. No, it's not. Actually, no, it's not the main thing. There's plenty else, but I think Marvel's probably going to be the biggest chunk.
Yeah. So the first one, which we kind of knew about already. So there's only 2 things left, I think, in Phase 4. The first one starts in August 17th, and Richard, you've been talking about this for years, and you're like, I don't know why we haven't had this yet. I'm ready for it. And Richard, it's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Yeah.
I'm interested. So like, what was the last show that came out? Moon Knight was good, very standalone.
Right. Very standalone.
I haven't seen any of Miss Marvel yet. I haven't watched any of that yet. But like you said,
I'm not caught up on it, but I've watched most of it. It's not bad. My youngest is really into it. It's definitely a show that is not meant for me, which I get.
Yeah.
It's not meant for me. It's meant for my kids. So,
which I kind of wonder how that's, because like most of the movies have, I just wonder if they're going to get too like focused on certain, like, that's very much like a teenage, preteen kind of show. I don't know if it connects with the universe much at all, or if it's going to work very well with like the universe. That's the part that I keep getting hung up on.
Well, okay. I see your point. I would counter that with saying that you can the character and the show that a character is in are not mutually exclusive, or they can't. I guess what I'm saying is, if you look at Marvel Phase 1 through 3, like Captain America, the First Avenger, was like your old fashioned, like war action movie, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to Captain America Winter Soldier, and it was more of like a Jason Bourne kind of spy thriller, right? But then you can take that character and put him in the Avengers with Thor, which Thor's first movie was like this fucking Shakespearean epic.
True.
And like you can put those characters together and they can still gel.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm looking more as like, I'm feeling like a lot of the TV series you don't have to watch, where it almost felt like a lot of the movies you did have to watch them. And even some of the movies that have come out, I feel like you don't have to watch them as much, and you're not missing anything. Like I haven't seen all of Eternals yet. I don't know if I need to. Moon Knight, you don't really need to watch up to this point to get anything extra.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking, I've been saying that for a while, that like everything feels very disjointed. Everything feels very disjointed and standalone-ish. I don't know if that's intentional, and then, characters come together and cross over, and then it doesn't really matter so much. Or if because really when you think about it, a lot of characters are getting introduced. And so is it just, hey, this is us introducing this character to the overall world, and then we'll figure out where he or she fits later on.
So like the She-Hulk is kind of getting her introduced, and was that, because I know Moon Knight, he was only signed on for 1 season. I don't know with She-Hulk how that's all set up. But
yeah,
She-Hulk
I don't know either.
She-Hulk's kind of the first one. I mean, Falcon Winter Soldier was kind of your main characters. Hawkeye was kind of your main character. So it's not the first one, but yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be kind of standalone-ish too. Get Abyss back, or Abomination back. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But
Hulk, you got Bruce Banner.
I'm down for it.
I am too. I'm kind of excited. 2 things about She-Hulk. Number 1, she's talking to the camera.
Yeah, there was one little scene where it was, yeah.
There's a couple times where she does it. Yeah. And like she was, which like kind of warmed my heart a little, because like She-Hulk was kind of one of the first comic book characters to do that. To do that fourth wall break in the books. She would always kind of talk to the reader in the books.
So you think that's going to be kind of like how they're going to introduce Deadpool? Like that's where Deadpool comes into play?
Well, I mean, if you want, like, she was doing it before Deadpool. So I thought that was kind of rad. So the whole fourth wall breaking I liked, because that's very reminiscent of her books. The other thing, which I don't know why you didn't mention this at all, the last 3 seconds of She-Hulk reintroduces.
Oh yeah, Daredevil,
another superhero attorney.
Yeah,
because why would you not? That's the easiest layup you can make, right?
Well, and let's
do a show about a superhero lawyer, and let's put in another superhero lawyer.
Yeah,
in the show, like. That's just like an easy 2 points, right?
Well, in the news, we'll tease it. There's a little bit of news coming down the pipe that maybe they're gonna bring that back.
Not maybe, Shawn. Not maybe.
Teasing, Richard. I'm putting a tease out there.
I mean, maybe,
because we're only on phase 4.
We'll find out.
But wrapping up.
So She-Hulk.
Yep. So wrapping
She-Hulk
up phase 4, August 17th. Yep.
Yeah.
So rounding out phase 4. November 11th, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Wow. Okay, so this one obviously, like, there's a trailer out, like, actually released for this one. There's actually a couple movies where trailers were shown at ComiCon. But haven't been released to the general public.
Yeah, and we usually release the Sunday after Comic-Con. I think this is coming out like 2 Sundays after. So they may have already been leaked or released. But yeah, for the most part, only a couple were slipped through.
I've seen leaks of the 2 aforementioned trailers that are not released. I've seen leaked versions.
Guardians, and what was the other one?
Quantum Mania.
Oh, okay.
But one trailer that was released was Wakanda Forever. Shawn, this trailer broke me in half.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
I watched that thing probably, and this is no exaggeration, I watched it probably 10 to 15 times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like the 11th or 12th time that I could watch it without like becoming overly emotional about it. So there are movies that you see a trailer for and you're like, that movie is going to make $80 million gazillion dollars, right? You're like, oh, this movie is going to make $80 gazillion dollars. This is going to be the biggest movie of the year. I'm not going to say that about Wakanda Forever. I'm going to say that after watching that trailer, and that's a teaser trailer, I think that movie is going to be something like special. I think that movie is going to be, I mean, yeah, it's probably going to make all the money and cool, but like, I think more than that, I think that's actually going to be a amazing film.
Yeah, I'm curious what it'll be, because I know I really like the first Black Panther, and like you said, you don't think it's going to be a 2-hour wake, and you think about like, I doubt this is where they're going with everything, but you look at, like you talked about, like everything feels kind of disjointed, like nothing, like it almost feels like phase 4 is lost in general. And this is the last movie, the last kind of thing for phase 4. And like, you kind of have that feeling of like, everybody feels lost in this trailer, obviously Black Panther's gone.
Obviously.
Somehow in the movie and in real life. So everybody here is lost in trying to find their way, and maybe this is the movie that kind of sets like the tone for what the next bit of the Marvel universe is going to be. It's helping not only, Wakanda find its way, but helping the Marvel universe find its way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because everything's going to be all right, Shawn.
Don't worry.
Oh, no, it's not that song. It's a Bob Marley song, but it's not that one.
Everything will be all right. Yeah, I know, because you and I talked before a little bit, and I said something about, I don't remember what it came up with, but Namor came up, and I asked if that was the MCU version of Aquaman, and you chastised me pretty hard and said, no, Aquaman. And
Aquaman is the DC version of Namor.
And at that time, we didn't know if Namor was going to be in this, and now we know. Like, this is Namor. This is
Marvel's oldest character.
Yeah. So obviously, and like, there's some kind of like historical grievance between Atlantis and Wakanda, right? Like, that's a big thing.
I mean, that's the way it's kind of coming off. That's the way, that's the impression I'm getting. But can we talk about just how beautiful the fucking movie looks?
Yeah, they use Aquaman.
Like, it just looks bright. It looks colorful.
Yeah, but even the water stuff, like when they're on the whales,
yes,
like they kind of used Aquaman as their beta testing. Like, okay, how do they do this wrong? Let's do it better.
Honestly, did you not want to call it Black Panther 2: The Way of Water?
No, because then that's going to remind me of the new freaking Avatar movie, which pisses me off.
Right. Like, do you not think that James Cameron's at home just like did you think like James Cameron watched that trailer and then fucking punched his television set?
If James Cameron,
he's like, why didn't they make it like that?
I feel like James Cameron's stuck in like 99. He still thinks Titanic's the biggest movie of all time.
Oof.
Like, I doubt he's watching San Diego Comic Con trailers. But that's the end of Phase 4.
That was the thought I had. I was like, oh, that's what the Avatar movie should have been. That's what the Avatar movie should have looked like.
Yeah, I don't know about. Did they show anything for Avatar at ComiCon?
I don't know. I don't think they showed anything at Comic-Con. No.
I know there's one trailer out, and I'm like, I put up the not interested sign right away.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the first one. Like we said, it's Pocahontas. It's Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of lukewarm on the first one. Like, it looks pretty, but okay.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't want to count my chickens on Avatar, but I get the feeling that it's going to have the same problem that The Matrix had, where that movie's going to come out and it's going to be like, oh, look at all this cool shit. It's like, yeah, you did that fucking 20 years ago. Like, what's new?
Yep. It's missed the boat. But yeah, Wakanda Forever finishes up Phase 4, and Richard, they're like,
looks so good.
Let it, we're going to tell you about Phase 5. And like I said, some of these we didn't see trailers for legally. But February 17th, 2023, Phase 5 kicks off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium.
So this... Oh, one other thing is there's going to be a character in Wakanda Forever that actually has their own show that we'll talk about later down the line. So Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be the introduction. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say not really introduction because you've seen the actor before, but they were playing somebody different. Spoilers on Loki. This movie, Quantumania, introduces Kang the Conqueror.
Yep. Yeah, so I know Kang's going to be a reoccurring character, I think, in a lot of these movies.
Yeah. I mean, is it? Yeah, there's Kang. There's variants, I guess, to say, of Kang.
So in the trailer,
you've already met one at the end of at the season finale of Loki. You met one of Kang's variants.
So in the trailer for Quantumania, did it feel like it's like kicking into higher gear, or did you get much sense of like what that movie's going to set the tone for?
A little bit. It seems like a big departure from what the previous two Ant-Man movies were. You know, Ant-Man was definitely like a heist movie, like Ocean's 11 with superheroes.
Well, the second
Ant-Man
one
and
was
the Wasp. I can't really pin down what Ant-Man and the Wasp was. I wasn't like super big on it.
Yeah, but it really set the tone for like Endgame and everything.
It did.
Like it did. It's one of those that if you didn't watch, you'd kind of miss like, where'd they come up with this technology? Why is this guy not like realize that it's been 5 years?
Quantumania, I'm getting the feeling like things are a much more serious departure than what those previous two movies were.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in the teaser. So at one point you hear Ant-Man talking to somebody and he's like, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'm an Avenger." And then Jonathan Majors, Kang himself, steps into frame. He's like, "You're an Avenger. Have I killed you before?"
Nice.
I thought he was going to say something like, "You're an Avenger. I'm a conqueror." But, you know. But yeah, so Quantumania is going to introduce Kang, which, again, we're going to talk about later down the line. See, that's the thing is I feel like this is the point where we're starting to get threads that are going to go through.
Yeah, agreed. And so the next TV series is spring of 23, and that is a Secret Invasion series. So
Secret Invasion. This is with Nick Fury.
Yeah, this is a big Phase 6 thing as well. So, you know, like again, are we getting kind of like these side-by-side storylines with this Kang the Conqueror and this Secret Invasion?
I'm curious how Secret Invasion's going to go, mainly because in the Secret Invasion series, it was basically Skrulls for the last however many years were actually superheroes. Like the superheroes that you know and love for the last however many years were actually Skrulls the whole time and nobody knew.
Mm-hmm. So they weren't. So were they not bad? They just kind of were down here like giving Iron Man like the day off?
No, they were all like sleeper agents. Like they had kidnapped the actual people.
Oh, is that how we get the Iron Man still alive?
Maybe.
That would kind of piss me off if I'm being honest.
You're not bringing Robert Downey Jr. back for that. No, you're not bringing Robert Downey Jr. back for a fucking Disney Plus show. That's not happening.
No, but that would be like introducing that like he's actually still alive.
I mean, I say that, but they put Mark Hamill in a Disney Plus show.
It's true. So, I mean, they have enough money that they can bring him out. He's like, it'll cost $1 billion. We're like, all right.
Well, whatever. Sell another fucking 5 mouse hats.
Yeah, what's the number, Robert? Robbie, what's the number?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, these are mostly just
Secret Invasion is very much in the wait and see category for me.
But it's soon. I mean, it's less than 10 months away. That's what's going to be interesting is like we talked like 2019, there was so much coming out. Like 2023, like actually starting like at the end of 22 through 23 is just going to be nothing but movies and content.
Yeah, it's kind of back to back. As it stands, you're going to be seeing a Marvel property pretty much every 3 to 5 months for the next 3 years.
It's about every other month there's something. So you got Ant-Man and Wasp February, spring, so that'd be like March or April, Secret Invasion. May 5th,
and then
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Guardians 3. So the leaked trailer for this that I saw, I think it looks like we're getting Rocket's origin.
That's what I've been hearing.
And also introduces one of my favorite characters to the MCU, Adam Warlock.
Yeah, and the kid that's playing it, pretty good actor. Like, I'm excited for it.
Space Jesus is coming to the MCU.
Well, and that was teased at Volume 2.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
The Cocoon, you saw the Cocoon in Volume 2.
And I think they wanted to introduce him earlier, but it just didn't work out right. But yeah, now we're gonna get him.
I'm excited. Okay, next up. I mean, other than the leaked trailer, I don't really know much about what's happening in Guardians 3. As far as I can tell, it's Adam Warlock. I believe the Living Tribunal, which I think was teased in Eternals, will be showing up in Guardians 3, possibly. So moving on, next up, my favorite MCU show thus far, season 2 of Loki.
Yep, summer of 23, we've got Loki and Echo. Those are the 2 series coming out.
So, season 2 of Loki, that show could literally go anywhere.
Yeah, I would think it would tie into kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp and the whole Kang stuff.
I think you're right. It's definitely going to tie into that. It's definitely going to tie into Kang the Conqueror. Where else it goes, I'm not 100% sure. I do know that Owen Wilson is coming back for Loki. Yeah.
I liked him in that show, though. I thought he did a great job.
I liked him in that show, too. Yeah. I agree.
The Echo series, I'm kind of interested in. Like I said, don't know much about it. I really like that character from Hawkeye.
I liked Echo.
I imagine that's building the Young Avengers potentially.
I think it's that. I think you're also going to get probably more Kingpin and probably a bit more of our blind attorney at law.
You think so? You think he's going to be in that?
I think so. I bet. If he doesn't show up in Echo, I'm gonna be. If Daredevil doesn't show up in Echo, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I guess you could sprinkle him in there because what we tempted about 6 to 8 months after Echo comes out, our blind attorney may be having his own show.
Nah.
I was assuming we might get some more of our new Black Widow. I'd be down for that too.
Oh yeah. That'd be cool. I'd be down with that.
July 28th, we have the Marvels.
Which I really, again, this is kind of in the Secret Invasion category for me.
Yeah. A lot of these are kind of in that
very
boat.
much in the wait and see kind of thing.
Fall of 23, Ironheart, which I think you alluded to. That's the character that's going to be introduced in
Riri
Wakanda Forever.
Yes, she's in. You see her. You see the actress. You see her like working on what I'm assuming is armor.
Yeah, she cuts out the heart. Would be part of her Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
nice.
Riri Williams. So in the comics, she basically reverse engineered Iron Man's suit and built her own.
Nice.
And then she was in high school, and then so she went on to MIT and kind of this. I would say if there's anybody that's going to be close to Tony Stark, I think they were kind of the MCU was. It seemed like they were kind of leaning more towards Peter trying to fill that Tony Stark role. I think that Riri Williams is probably a better fit.
Yeah, I could see that. Spider-Man, like, there's not really anything for Spider-Man coming up soon either. So I'll be kind of interested where that falls.
Yeah, I kind of am too. I mean, I think we'll probably see him. Well, I think we'll definitely see him towards the tail end of this saga.
Yeah. Well, I know there's talks. This is outside of MCU stuff, but there's talks about doing an actual Amazing Spider-Man 3. And then there's talks of bringing on a Spider-Man 4. So both Toby and Garfield getting their sequels, which really be a third and a fourth.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one I'm excited for because I always love this character. I really think this is the character that kind of set the tone, not the tone, but really kind of allowed the MCU to even exist. Because if you know, Richard, when this original movie came out, comic book movies were like, done. It's like you got Batman and Robin. Yeah, you killed the comic book movie, but this one brought it back.
I disagree. And actually, there's one that you skipped over that I would argue is what brought the comic book movie, what proved the model that the comic book movie could make money.
Well, I didn't skip. The next one's November 3rd, 2023, and that's Blade.
Is that November of 23?
That's what this says, yeah.
Okay. I think I had it in the wrong spot. Okay. Yes. Then
we are going
talking
off
about the same
okay.
thing.
I was going to say, I was like, I don't know what movie you're talking about.
We'll get there. I was talking about something else.
Yeah, we're looking at different articles, so I'm sure that they've been fact checked. But yeah, this says November 3rd, 2023 is when Blade comes out. His voice has been in Eternals, I believe. I haven't watched all of it yet.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting how this figures in, but if you look at winter of 23, Agatha Coven of Chaos comes out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to try to tie these two things together at all, which would kind of make sense because Blade's vampires and kind of more the supernatural kind of stuff, and Agatha obviously being a witch is kind of in that realm as well.
I could see that. I like the Agatha Coven of Chaos. I like the idea of that. I can't remember. I think the show had another working title that I don't remember what it was, because then I heard Coven of Chaos and I'm like, oh, I like that way better.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. Spring 2024, we've been kind of poking around at it, but Daredevil, Born Again.
Ooh.
Cox is back in the wheel.
Ooh. Okay. So, number 1, you get Daredevil back. Number 2, you get Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. Number 3, this is the big one. This is the one that I was like, oh, like, holy shit. Okay. So, do you know how many episodes are ordered for Daredevil Born Again?
Was it like 12 or 16?
18.
Yeah.
18 episodes. Like, do you imagine all those being an hour?
Well, most of the MCU Marvel shows have been like 30, 35 minutes. So I would guess that they'd probably be in that time frame, which is still a lot. I mean, you go from, 4-ish hours total with what they've been to 8.5, 9. And also their weekly releases. So if it comes out in spring, this could be another crossover, because in May 3rd is when Captain America New World Order comes out. So are we going to see Captain America New World Order come like right in the middle of Daredevil and be some kind of like crossover event there?
That's entirely possible.
Because some of the
that's entirely possible.
Some of the stuff they did when they were on ABC, they did that a little bit, where like they'd have an episode that led right up to the movie, and then they had a little bit of extra stuff after the movie came out.
That happened with Winter Soldier, where basically the entire show like flipped script and became a completely different show over the course of a week.
Which I like. To me, I like that, because that's like must see TV, right? Like, oh, right. I'm going to go see Captain America on Friday. Well, I better go see the newest episode of Daredevil just to make sure I don't miss something.
No, I agree. So, Daredevil Born Again, I am kind of curious what the story for Daredevil Born Again is going to go, because the graphic novel or the Born Again story in the comics kind of they did already. So Daredevil season 3, like the Kingpin kind of like outed Daredevil a little bit and kind of like broke him, kind of like tried to, frame him and break him down a little bit psychologically, which was kind of the premise of the Born Again story in the Marvel comics. I mean, there's definitely a lot left. I mean, they didn't do the whole thing page for page. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot there. I guess I'm just are they going to follow that beat for beat?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because, like how much of the Netflix stuff are they going to say is like in canon? Are they going to scrap all of it? Interested in that because, again,
that's the other thing is, do you bring in Jessica Jones? Do you bring in Heroes for Hire?
Yeah, is Punisher
like you can shove them all in?
Yeah,
except Iron Fist. You'd be like, oh, well, what happened? I don't know.
Yeah. July 26th of 24. Thunderbolts. I know nothing about this one.
This one is, so Thunderbolts was, I don't know if you remember, General, he's been in the, he's been in the movies. He was in Civil War and, I think Infinity War for a bit. General Thunderbolt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is basically like it's kind of like Marvel's version of Suicide Squad.
Okay. Makes sense.
They weren't, I don't think they're, if I remember, I don't think they're like prisoners, but they're definitely like a government sponsored superhero team.
Okay. I'd be down for that.
I didn't read much of I haven't read much of the Thunderbolts, so I don't know much beyond that. But
okay, yeah. Now we get into Phase 6. So now we're gonna get trailers for all these for like ComiCon 23, ComiCon 24, but Phase 6, November 8th, 2024, Fantastic Four.
So this is what I thought you were talking about earlier.
Oh, I gotcha. No, yeah, there's not much known about it. The guy from The Office, I guess, made it slip that he may be in it, which I'd be down for because I thought he was a great character in the.
I'm like okay, so these movies that are on the tail end, like I guess like where do you think they are in terms of production? Like I would imagine that they don't even have a script written.
Probably not
for some of these.
I mean, so Secret Invasion, Galaxy, Echo, Loki, The Marvels, Ironheart, and probably Blade. Those are probably all written and in some form of kind of like finalized production.
I know I know they're as far as I know they're shooting Loki. I think they're shooting Loki right now.
Yeah, because those are all 23. Daredevil, Captain America, and Thunderbolts in 24. Those are probably like in the script writing process right now. But like Fantastic Four, that's probably maybe a script or two. And then like the next ones are the two Avengers movies. So May and November of 25, you've got Avengers.
You got
Cap New World Order. Yeah, I said that one. May 3rd of 24.
Yeah. So Fantastic Four. If that movie, man, I need someone to crack the code on Fantastic Four because I think that really could be. I think that could be a very cool movie if somebody fucking figures it out.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just a little too like super comic booky. If that's the problem they have with it.
See, I don't think so because I would argue that Spider-Man is super comic booky. But it got figured out. Is
it? Yeah, but that's an individual too. So is the Fantastic Four? It's a group superhero movie where it's tough to try to like relate to anyone because it's four people you're trying to like introduce at one time. But they did it with the Turtles.
And they did it with Guardians.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if anybody can do it, this group can.
I need somebody to crack the code on Fantastic Four. Because if you can do Fantastic Four right, then all of those characters I think are huge assets for the overall world. Like we talked about, like Tony Stark being the smartest guy in the room. Reed Richards is the smartest guy in the room. Reed Richards is in the comic books. Reed Richards is the catalyst for so many major events.
Well, and like you said, it's like they're looking for that catalyst now since Robert Downey Jr.'s gone. There he is. Although that's 2 years away to get him into the MCU, but if you're looking phase 6, 7, 8, 9, I mean, you have that person lined up for it. You know, you can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in 25, and I always like once
so then
we get
we're at the two Avengers movies.
Yeah, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which
see, you just rushed into them. So Kang Dynasty, like, so since we're doing since we're doing 2 Avengers movies and one is the Kang Dynasty, so Kang is your Thanos. You know, I mean, like, that's kind of what a lot of people assume, but I think that this kind of confirms it. So the question I have is, so we have the Kang Dynasty, and then I think these 2 movies are only like supposed to be like a year apart.
No, they're months apart. So May 2nd, 2025, then November 7th, 2025. So so 6 months apart. Yeah, and when you're looking at like this far out, you know, Marvel's done this before where they announced a bunch of movies and they drop things that they don't have done or aren't working, or they switch it up. So to me, when you get to these points, like, all this stuff can shift. But these 2 movies, it's like the Kang Dynasty, I feel, is going to be like the end of this multiverse saga. Yeah. And then Avengers Secret Wars is what's going to kick off the next saga, if you will.
I would probably argue that Secret Wars is what ends the multiverse saga. Like, I think Secret Wars is your end game.
Could be.
Because Secret Wars is, let's put everybody in a room and have them beat the shit out of each other.
But that seems too big for a movie and to end, unless it's like Kang Dynasty ends this like multiverse, unless I guess you have multiple different versions and it's like we got to have one of each.
Yeah, I think Kang Dynasty is Kang is going to destroy the multiverse, and Secret Wars is let's put everybody in a room and fight.
So that's going to be whoever doesn't have a contract for more than a few more movies dies?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think Secret Wars is your end game. We were talking about Spider-Man earlier.
So all 3 Spider-Man are going to have to fight in that one?
Spider-Man is 100% going to be in Secret Wars. Spider-Man was like a key figure in Secret Wars.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to be, that's what, 3 years away? He's going to be like 28 at that point.
How old is Tobey Maguire? Tobey Maguire is like 845 years old.
He's pretty old. But that's the rundown of the MCU that this has. I know a couple other things, like X-Men 97.
I was going to mention X-Men 97. It's not a rehash of the cartoon, of the old cartoon. It is an actual continuation of the fucking cartoon.
Yeah, well, if you want people to go back and watch your old content, right, there's a way to do it. It's like, hey, you didn't watch all of them or don't remember, go back and watch them before this comes out.
I mean, you want to talk about not only a page for page rehash of comics, but, you know, a line for line. X-Men 97 is basically a visual audiobook of the, you know, run of the X-Men. I mean, they do Days of Future Past. They do the Kree-Shi'ar War. They do, I mean, everywhere that comic went, that show went. And I would say it's almost a page for page recreation of the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, I mean, you've seen that with the MCU. Like, they take the content that they have because it's worked. People like it. You find the stories and, you know, the different little sections that people like, and that's what you make. Yep. There's the one I'm kind of interested because I guess they're doing a freshman year and a sophomore year of it is Spider-Man. So it's going to be like before he gets with Tony Stark and everything. And I guess Daredevil's going to be in that as well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious how that goes as well.
He's probably banging Aunt May.
We all want to bang Aunt May.
Mm-hmm. And the other one, like I saw this. I mean, it feels like kind of a more kid specific thing. But there's an I Am Groot TV series coming out.
I did see that as well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it with my kiddo.
I guess it can't all be for me, even though it should be.
But is there any other MCU stuff? Like, I feel like this was, you think like 20, and they already had planned not to be big because they were coming off of Endgame. 21 was not big. Like, Marvel came out swinging this year.
I really didn't think that. I mean, I figured Marvel was gonna obviously do something, but I figured D23 is coming up, and they were gonna put some stuff aside, and I would probably guess that if we're talking about we were talking about trailers for Quantumania and Guardians 3, I would guess that that's when the general public's probably going to see those.
That makes sense. Kind of hold back for that.
Yeah. But I did not expect Marvel to walk out on the stage and be like, hey, this is what we're doing for the next 3 years. Oh, you're going to have something to watch every other month for the next 3 fucking years.
Yeah, and because you'd think they'd kind of learn, because when they were doing phase 2 and 3, they did that stuff. And you get excited for something because I don't remember if it was Eternals or there was something that was really big and it got pushed for a couple years. I think it was Eternals. And so like now, like everything seems more like, nope, these are the things we're doing. Like Blade, they've been talking about for 2 years at this point.
Well, I think, like Endgame, Endgame happened, and then it was, okay, let's everybody just take a collective, relaxing breath. Okay, now we'll do the other stuff. Oh, wait, COVID. And I think that just kind of caused a bit of a hiccup. But now, I mean, it again has this feeling of we're furiously laying down track while a train is barreling behind us.
Yeah. And here comes DC. Like they were
DC. Okay, so wait. I mean, I wouldn't. Did DC, throw out a dick the same size as Marvel? No, but DC put out more than I thought they would. Because usually, what happens is, between Marvel and DC, especially when it comes to San Diego Comic Con, is one comes big and hard and the other one doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then the following year, they like swap roles. It's almost like they flipped a coin, 10 years ago. And they're like, okay, call it in the air. First one gets this one and then next does next.
Well, what did DC announce this year? The only thing I heard of was Shazam, which I'm a huge Shazam fan. Although they are in that trailer. Yep. They show he's like, I can't be the Flash. And it's like, nobody wants to be the Flash right now. That is a story that everybody wants to stay way, way away from.
You're absolutely right. Nobody wants to be the Flash.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to be Aquaman.
That's right. I don't know if you noticed, they did not show the Flash's face. So
they did not show the Flash's face. I'll tell you what, this would be a perfect time to, film an extra scene where you replace your Flash at the end of that Flash movie. Like, oh, by the way, this Barry died.
Yeah.
Horrible death.
Yeah. Well, and like the Flash movie was supposed to come out this spring, I think. And that's kind of the big question mark is, are they going to reshoot a bunch of stuff? Or are they going to go with it? Like, because that was going to be like, man, like the DCU, EU.
And like, imagine they go with it. Like, are you going to have Ezra Miller out doing fucking press for this movie?
No, he's done. I think they've already said like he's not on anything going forward. I don't even know. Have they found him yet? Like, side note, like he had. I
have no idea.
He had like some girl kidnapped.
I am so not paying attention to the fucking epic drama saga that is the life of Ezra Miller.
Well, it was hot and heavy for a minute, and then like it's been like radio silent for like a month. And I don't know if that's on purpose or if it's just like, I don't know.
I don't know. But you're right. You did get a trailer for Shazam 2, which the villain for Shazam 2, I don't remember my DC villains that well, but I'm curious, is that Granny Goodness?
I don't know. I always like my Granny Goodness.
Is Helen Mirren playing Granny Goodness? Because if that's the case, like that is overcasting. Like that is hiring Barry Bonds for your T-ball league. If that's what's happening. Because Helen Mirren's just going to walk in and fucking crush it. Okay, so anyway, Shazam 2, it looks fine. It looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like more Shazam, so that's okay.
Yeah, I really like the first one.
There was another trailer released for Black Adam.
Yeah, I'm that one. If I didn't have kind of the back DCEU stuff, I'd probably be more excited about it. And The Rock is always hit or miss in his stuff. Like sometimes I feel like
if I go, I'm not going for The Rock. I'm going for Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
I'm going for Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
He looks like he is like 100% in on that too. Like he is all in on that.
Oh, he looks so good in that helmet. Yeah. I want all of that.
Did DC have any other announcements besides those two?
They had one big one, Shawn, and this is the one I actually wrote down because I have to mention it because because it made me feel so good. Because Shawn, it's coming Friday. Is it Friday? Is it coming Friday? No. Next Friday. No. Yeah. I don't remember. Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
Is on the way.
Is that DC proper or who's? Because I know it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, but Sandman's a DC property, a DC IP.
But doesn't Gaiman own like quite a bit of it? Like he owns like final say on everything.
It's Gaiman's work, but it's published through DC. So Gaiman is actually I know he wrote all of these episodes, but I think he actually directed most of these episodes, which I'm excited about because so we've seen Neil Gaiman's stories and they're fucking amazing, but he's finally doing this is Sandman is the story that made Neil Gaiman the household name that he is, right? But he obviously he had experience writing comics through Sandman and stuff like that, but he didn't really have any experience writing stuff for like television and movies and stuff like that. But now he's worked on Good Omens, which was on Amazon. He's worked on American Gods, which was on Stars, which was really, really good. And so now he's actually been able to kind of I feel like he's been able to collect the experience he needs to actually do this show justice.
Well, I know because they've wanted to do this a few times and he said no because they weren't wanting to do it the way that he wanted it done, right?
Right. I think there's been talks about doing a Sandman movie since like the late 90s. Or about somebody, trying to want to do one.
Mm-hmm.
And it always kind of fell through. So I am super, super pumped because there's such good visuals and writing in that Sandman book. I mean, there is a reason. Everybody's like, what makes Neil Gaiman so fucking cool? Sandman's what made him cool. Like just.
Yeah, I haven't read Omens yet. I've got another one of his books. I've read American Gods, and American Gods is a really, really good book. It's a hard one to put down.
I mean, I would say that Sandman to me is what made the graphic novel.
Did you listen to the audio Sandman that he did series?
I didn't. I heard it was really good though.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an Audible thing.
So for people that haven't seen Sandman or know what the fuck we're talking about, yes, we are talking about the actual Sandman that, you know, deals with dreams and nightmares.
And like this is the whole idea of like something taking the nightmares and bringing them into reality.
Yeah. And it's also the idea of the personification of the personification of primordial forces. You know, you have destiny and dreams and death and
so it almost has a sound of like American Gods because that's kind of
yeah. I mean Sandman came first, so I would, I'd say that Sandman kind of beget American Gods. I mean, they're both his stories, but yeah.
But kind of same idea.
So Morpheus is the Sandman. And he looks like he's straight out of I don't know how the fuck they did it, but it looks like they pulled him straight from the goddamn page.
Yeah, looks like a scrawny vampire looking dude, like an emo vampire.
So fucking great. But you're gonna see Morpheus, the Sandman. You're gonna see Death, probably Destiny, the Devil, Gwendolyn Christie as the Devil, Lucifer Morningstar. Which there's actually there's a scene with her in it. There's a couple scenes, early scenes that got released on YouTube that are very, very cool. There's one scene. It's Morpheus and Death, and Death's going to visit an old man, and he's sitting there and he's playing the violin. And she just walks in the room. Death walks in the room, and she says, "You know who I am?" Or no, he said, "Who are you?" And she says, "You know who I am." And he's like, "Well, I'm not ready to go. Like, can't like, why can't I have?" And Death says, "You got what everyone else got. You got a life." So fucking good.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a scene. There's an article here saying that Neil Gaiman cried watching an emotional death scene.
So fucking good. And he's like, "Can I say something first?" And Death's like, "Of course." And so he says a prayer to himself in Hebrew, and then off they go. Death and this old man. And Morpheus is just kind of like hanging out. It's great. It's really, really...
And that comes out.
That Sandman book is fantastic. I would anybody that hasn't read Sandman that's at all into comic books, required reading. I feel like that should be required reading. If you and I, Shawn, were professors of a comic book 101 class, Sandman would be on the required reading list.
You said that comes out July 29th?
I want to say August, like the first weekend, in August.
This will be like the 6th, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I want to say like the 5th or the 6th. I'm excited.
Do you have any more on the DC Marvel stuff? I don't know if you want a quick hit through some of the other things.
I don't have anything else on DC. Those were the big things I saw for DC.
Yeah, so I know
August 5th. Yeah, August 5th.
Okay. So one of the big ones is Lord of the Rings movie, or not movie, TV show on Amazon.
Yes, The Rings of Power. That was on my also stuff.
Something we've been talking about for a while, now finally coming out.
It looks exactly how I'd expect it to look, which is very pretty, very stylized, and very expensive.
Yes. Which is interesting for Amazon because like almost everybody has Amazon Prime. So you're not really like, unless they're going to start that as a subscription thing.
I mean, I don't know, man.
It just feels to me like, hey, come to Amazon Prime for Lord of the Rings is like, well, I'm already here.
Yeah, who's getting an Amazon a Prime membership so they can watch Lord of the Rings?
Exactly. I'm sure there's people out there, but
I am not those people.
The one I'm pretty excited for, House of Dragons. Or House of the Dragon. I'm excited to get back into Game of Thrones. Getting the right people to do it. George R. R. Martin, I guess, has buy-in on it. He's like, this will buy me another 3-4 years to finish my book.
I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. That's where I'm at. I've before I was just cautious, and now I'm cautiously optimistic. That's where I'm at when it comes to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they don't have the same two dudes doing it who had no clue what they were doing. I don't know if they've put anything out since. Like, they had a huge Netflix deal.
They went to Netflix, and they're supposed to be making shit for Netflix, I thought, right?
I thought they got, cut out of that deal, too. I could be wrong. But, after that whole debacle, and they're like, yeah, we didn't know what we're doing. I think Netflix kind of cut their ties. I could be wrong. But, I said,
maybe. I don't know.
I love the Game of Thrones world. I love, the books, obviously. So, getting back into it, and what's nice about this is it's so far in the past that it can't really mess up the actual Game of Thrones series, because there's just so much time in between the two that it can live as its own thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons that I would put that squarely in the plus category. Mm-hmm. Some people will be like, oh, well, you're not going to see any of the people that you saw in the other series. I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
I would put that in the pro column rather than the con column.
Exactly. Because I know they're talking a Jon Snow North of the Wall series.
I've heard that, yeah.
Which, I'd be interested in, but that feels like that can get messy. Because no matter what you do with that, he's going to go back down south of the wall, and now you got the whole Game of Thrones conflict again. But John Wick 4, they had a trailer for it.
Man, you were just crashing through my entire list here. Yeah.
Oh,
John Wick 4. He showed up. He showed up at the con for a panel.
That's what I heard, yeah. So have you seen all three yet, or?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it took me a while to get you into going and seeing those, but we talk about wanting originality, that's a movie that just came out and kind of came up with this little universe, and it's wow, that did good. Let's do a second one, and they've created their own universe. We talk about wanting originality, and here you've got it.
Yep, I completely agree. It's definitely. Is it an action movie? Sure, but I would say it's an action. It's an action movie in terms of genre, but it definitely feels. It's definitely a breath of fresh air in terms of the style of action. It's in.
Well, that whole assassin Creed and all that kind of stuff is just cool. It's a cool universe to me.
Yeah, I agree.
What
it's
else
definitely Assassin Harry Potter. You're right.
Oh, yeah. That's a great way to put it. Which house are you in?
That's the way I always if people ask me about John Wick, I always describe it as Assassin Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, 2 and 3 are. The first one is really just a revenge movie.
Was that all you had? Because I had one more.
Oh, go ahead with your last one.
So this is actually the first thing I saw to come out of Comic-Con. Which I can't remember if I told you. I can't remember if I told you about it, or if you haven't seen it. No, you've seen it because we have talked about it. But Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
I'm excited for that because, it looks fun. I hope it is fun.
It looks fun.
I'm hearing rumors that if it does well, they're going to make their own universe out of it, which I'd be down for. Because to me, I feel if that does really well, that paves the way for people being oh my God, what other kind of cool tabletop games are there? Pathfinder, Starfinder. We've talked a lot about Destiny. Is that going to cue them up to have a really cool setup?
More than that, if you do if a Dungeons and Dragons movie is done well, then I think that opens the door to any sort of just fucking like, okay, look at like the show on Amazon. Look at Legend of Vox Machina, based off a Critical Role campaign.
That's a little bit more mature, though.
No, I agree. I guess what I'm saying is, if that D&D movie does well, then people are like, well, shit, you could take somebody's fucking homebrew campaign and spin it into a 12-part series.
Yeah, pretty easily.
Because at the end of the day, it's all just stories.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like comic books. It was years and years of comic book stories. Like, how many like campaign storylines have been put together by Wizards of the Coast and Paizo and all of them? Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, not even that, just like random fucking people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to go to the
how
source
many
first.
kids sitting in their basement, 20 years ago, like that wrote up a campaign, this epic campaign for their friends to go through. And then now that person's, a fucking screenwriter at 20th Century Fox, and they see that 20th Century Fox sees that the Dungeons and Dragons movie made $80 gazillion. And so they're like, hey, does anybody have any D&D like property that we could, co-opt?
I've got my own homebrew.
Exactly.
It's like, we don't want to hear about your beers, Steve. No, it's what you call custom made campaigns.
Yeah.
The Shadow. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I saw that when I was like Chris Pine. Like, I'm a huge Chris Pine fan. Curious how he's going to play in this, but I'm still down.
I like Chris Pine. I hope he is not the focal point of the movie.
Agreed.
But I have nothing against Chris Pine. I just, if you're gonna have a movie about a Dungeons and Dragons group, then you can't have one person be the star of the group.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and there's some other little news. Like, I guess they're gonna do the final season of Walking Dead, but they're doing like a Michonne and Rick storyline, like the a couple episode series.
Do you feel like we've gone too long with Walking Dead?
Yeah, they really kind of like, if they would have just like stuck with the comic book more closely, I think it would have been a great story, because that comic book series ended like I wept when I read that issue. Like, it was just so well done, and Robert Kirkman did really well through that whole series. But they like what Walking Dead to me and AMC did. They did like the Moneyball version of running a TV show. Like, once somebody got a little too expensive, they killed them off the show. Like, you look at where we are in the series, like the main characters. That's a
good way to put it. I've never heard anybody put it like that before. But that's exactly how they put it. It was definitely a Moneyball way of making a show.
I've been saying that for years, because like, you think about the main characters for the show, it's Andrew Lincoln and his kid. What's his kid's name? Carl. There we go. Like, those are the ones that made it all the way through the comic book series, and they barely made it to like season 9. And they casted the younger girl who died in one of the, like, when she was a baby, but it's like, well, we'll bring a new person on and pay them like starting wages for 4 episodes or 4 seasons.
Who's coming up on 5 seasons? They're dead.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I hate too, is because you would hear so many people like, Jesus was a character in there. Great character. Like, he made it pretty far in the actual comics too. And he was having contract disputes, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess you're dead. And to me, that's like, you're not making a story then. You're making the most economical show you can. And they've been bleeding that sucker dry. Like, they've got like 4 different offshoots of it. But yeah, and that's what I like about like Stranger Things is a good, setup for this, is it's like, we got 5 seasons. This is what we want to do. And that's what they do. Instead of being like season to season, like, all right, well, can we keep milking this cow? But that's just me.
No, I agree.
Was there anything else? Yeah, I think that's about it.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think that's about it for everything I saw.
I think that's all the news that's fit to print.
Yeah, Clerks 3 panel. I think we talk about him every year. That comes out, I think, in August this year. August
I think he's starting to showcase the movie like end of August.
Which sounds like it may be at home quicker than most movies, so that's where I'm kind of waiting to see if I'm going to watch it in theaters or at home. But trailer looks good for it. I saw that a few months back.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, that's about all I got. So I guess Richard,
that's all I have as well.
As they're starting to wave us down, like I said, every year at San Diego Comic Con, Hall LOB is what closes it out. So as they're starting to shut off the lights and call the security guards, what do you have for some Richard's closing thoughts?
So, honestly, Comic-Con was something that was not on my radar, and I think that just mainly had to do with the fact that you didn't really hear anything because there wasn't anything for the last 2 years. And so I guess I was kind of expecting more of the same, and I was pleasant. I have never been so happily disappointed, I have never been so happily wrong because there was a whole big lot. And I was here for every single bit of it. And so I guess, do we say that the con is back? Is that how you end it? You say the con is back?
I think so.
Because it feels like it is.
All the other ones have been coming back strong. I haven't heard a lot of people complaining about anything after cons. So yeah, I think I'm pretty safe to say they're back.
Yeah. So I'm down with it. And I'm here for it. And I'm excited for the next one.
Me too. All right. Well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. And if you want to join our Patreon and get the backstage pass to Hall LOB, just join up on our Patreon like Wendy and Aaron.
You guys are in the green room.
Yeah. As always, we can't thank you guys enough for helping support the show. Like, it means the world to us.
We love you so much.
All right. Was there anything before I close her out?
No, I'm good, sir.
All right. Well, that's all the bros for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why. Be a why not.
It's dark in here.
I wish they would have waited till we left before they turned out the lights.